In this video, I will walk you through the steps necessary to create and implement sound design and music into one of the sample levels created in Unreal Engine 4. We'll be using Digital Performer and Vienna Ensemble Pro to compose and mock up our music, Sibelius to proofread our music, Ableton Live, Pulse Stretch, and Spear to create some sound design elements, Pro Tools to edit and finalize our loops and one-shots, and Fmod to finally implement the sounds in Unreal Engine. Now, the first step is to actually walk through the level and assess what we need. So, we objectively need sounds for the torches and embers, and we could add distant ocean or port sounds, wind, birds, ambiances, and very importantly, room tone to tie it all together. I've searched among my library sounds and put them together in a single folder, labeled SFX Source Byzantine. I labeled the project Byzantine as for some very erroneous reason, it gave me a Byzantine vibe. Bear in mind that this is an extremely small example level, and that for large projects, you would have to create a very well structured asset list. Next, I go to Pro Tools, and depending on whether or not the sound is to be a one shot or a loop, I edit it accordingly. To loop a sound, I go to the end segment, making sure that the beginning and the end are correlated. By that I mean that if the sound is an ambience, the beginning and ending portions must have the same harmonic content and amount of activity, people talking, traffic, or animal sounds. Then I make sure to grab the sound more or less at a 0 point region to avoid clips and pops. Make the cut with Command E. Take that to the start of the sound and crossfade it. Make sure it's equal gain. I can audition the resulting loop also by taking advantage of the dynamic transport option using Command Control P on a Mac. I then consolidate the track by selecting it and pressing Shift Option 3. I also make sure to keep the loops as work in progress, should revisions be required, as they usually are. After going through all my sounds and consolidating them, I copy the resulting sounds and place them in a finished assets folder, titled SFX Edited. Now, there are some sounds I created using Pulse Stretch and Spear, both amazing freeware programs that really help exploit artifacts and glitch sound. With Pulse Stretch, I created a pad-like sound using a cymbal crash. Pulse Stretch and most other algorithms for time stretching use granular synthesis methods to shape audio. Pulse Stretch takes this to the extreme. I invite you to try it out, as well as Spear, a resynthesis tool that allows you control over sound in a very Photoshoppy way. Isotope's Iris is built on the same concept. With Spear, you can get some very matrixy sounds like this. Heading over to the music side, I've decided that since the level is very small, it would be best to use a vertical resequencing approach instead of a horizontal or branching approach. I've made a musical loop that is comprised of low strings and high strings, which I can split up in Digital Performer when I create the mockup. In Vienna Ensemble Pro, I've created the outputs, one for high strings and one for low strings, which are routed directly to tracks for printing via the bundles in DP. The ending portion of the music is the same as the beginning, which will help me in the looping phase when we reach Fmod. I've thought that the music should be very modal, reminiscent of an ancient culture, and also for the sake of not using any dominant functions and getting rid of pesky avoid notes. I want to create a generative system in which some of the bells that I've created can play whenever, and that means any pitch from E to E in the E natural minor scale. This also applies to the chants that I've recorded with my go-to singer. Originally, some of these chants had a flat second, which are beautiful, giving a very Mediterranean vibe, but that flat 2 may bring some problems with her chants playing randomly with scatter function in Fmod, so I took them out. I also made some choir phrases, some mandolin one-shots, and a nice drone on Ableton Live with one of my personal presets. With all my finished assets in order, I can go into Fmod, create a new project, and save it. I go to Preferences to make sure that the build directory is pointing to my Unreal project, as Fmod will export what we do to Unreal. Over on the music side, we create our loop and the scatter events. The scatter event is a great tool for randomizing when and what asset is to be played, at what interval, apparent distance, and with a variable pitch. This serves to automate birds, as well as one-shots such as the mandolin, bells, and chants. Finally, we create a distance parameter that automates the balance of the mix depending on the geographical position of the actor on the level. The further away from the source yields one mix, the middle ground yields another, and close up, another one. This is the essence of vertical remixing. Be sure to delete the 3D panner for the music, as the music is a 2D sound, not a 3D sound that will move around in space as the actor moves inside the level. When I'm done, I press Command Option B to build, and Command S to save, and head over to Unreal. Here I find the Fmod folder with my assets, and redistribute them in the level. When I'm done, I can preview the level to see that what I've done is correct and to the liking of the game supervisor. This has been a broad stroke at creating and implementing music and sound for games. Fmod has some very good training videos that go in depth about its functionalities. Please look them over. I hope this has been useful.